After discovering my husband gave the only life-saving medicine to his first love, I walked away for good. Lu Junxiao. This is our son's life-saving medicine. Bai Qin only has an allergy. Are you insane? The moment I pushed open the study door, I heard my own voice, broken, hoarse, desperate. The scene was painfully familiar. So familiar that the hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. In my previous life, I had knelt on the floor, clutching Lu Junxiao's suit trousers, begging him to leave the only box of the city's last batch of Rue Bauding. But then, the double vision faded, and I was standing at the study door, my fingers tightly gripping the blue and white medicine box. Lu Junxiao, dressed in a sharp black suit, his brows frozen with coldness, strode toward me. He reached out his hand and commanded, "Lin Wanyue, hand it over." His tone allowed no argument. Qingqing is struggling to breathe. The hospital's pharmacy needs time to restock. She can't wait. I heard my own voice, cold as ice. Our son, Lin Qingyu, 6 years old, was lying in the sterile ward of the city hospital, fighting severe post-op rejection with a fever of 40 degrees Celsius that wouldn't break. This medicine was the one the chief physician had specifically said could save his life. Xingyu just has a fever. The doctors and nurses are watching him. Missing one dose won't kill him. A flicker of impatience crossed Lu Junxiao's eyes. He stepped forward, his right hand clamping down on my wrist like a vice. The pain was searing. I let go. The medicine box fell into his palm, and he didn't even glance at me as he turned and walked away. Lu Junxiao, I called out. I didn't chase after him like I had in my past life. I didn't fall down the stairs or scream curses. I just watched his back and asked softly, "Are you sure you want to take this medicine?" He paused briefly, then threw a sarcastic remark over his shoulder. "Lin Wanyue, don't use your filthy jealousy to question Qingqing's condition. Once she's out of danger, I'll make it up to Xingyu." The door slammed shut. The roar of the engine faded into the distance. I looked down at my bruised wrist and laughed bitterly. In my past life, I had fought him for that medicine, tumbled down the stairs, and ended up with a permanently fragile right leg. Meanwhile, Lu Junxiao had rushed the medicine to Bai Qin, who had already recovered, and stayed by her side all night out of thoughtfulness. My Xingyu, having missed the critical window to suppress the rejection, suffered multiple organ failure that night. He barely survived but was left with lifelong asthma and a weak constitution. Back then, I was consumed with hatred. I raged. I went mad. I threw Bai Qin's medical records in Lu Junxiao's face. All I got was his smear. "Lin Wanyue, you're disgusting. You have no sympathy at all." Now, I wouldn't make a scene anymore. I picked up my phone and dialed the chief physician. "Dr. Chen, this is Lin Xingyu's mother." Lu Junxiao took the medicine, gave it to his savior. "Yes." I couldn't stop him. There was a pause on the other end. Then Dr. Chen's voice, filled with shock and anger. "Ms. Lin, that medicine was specially approved. How could Mr. Lu? That's his own son." "I know. Please arrange a backup plan immediately. I know there will be severe side effects, and Xingyu will suffer. I'll come to the hospital to sign the paperwork in half an hour." I hung up and walked into the kitchen. On the stove was a clay pot of yen du xian, Lu Junxiao's favorite soup. I had learned to make it from an old chef over 3 days, just to please him. This time, instead of turning off the heat, I picked up the boiling pot and poured the entire thing into the trash can. The thick, greasy soup splattered over the garbage, emitting a sour stench. Then I went upstairs to the master bedroom. Lu Junxiao was an extreme neat freak with very high standards. His shirts had to be hand-washed and ironed by me. His ties had to be arranged by color shade. Every morning, I had to lay out his outfit by his bedside. I opened the closet and looked at the expensive, meticulously cared for suits. Then I took out a pair of scissors. I didn't go mad and cut them up, that would be too cheap. Instead, I chose the ones he wore most often and carefully picked open a few seams in hidden places like the armpits and linings. When I was done, I looked at myself in the mirror, pale, but with eyes brighter than ever before. Before, I had been Lu Junxiao's housekeeper, free nanny, and even a tool to satisfy his physical needs. I thought that if I did everything perfectly, even a heart of stone would warm up. But the truth was, a stone only burns your hand when it gets hot. I grabbed my bag and left. As soon as I arrived at the hospital, I heard Xingyu's weak sobs. The tiny child was covered in 4 needles. His face flushed with fever. Mom. He reached out his little hands when he saw me. Where's Dad? He said he'd bring the medicine. I walked over and gently held his burning hands. Dad has something more important to take care of, I said, avoiding the topic of the medicine. Be good, Xingyu. Mom is here. Mom will stay with you. A nurse came in to change the 4 and said sympathetically, Ms. Lin. Dr. Chin told us that medicine was the only one in the city. Mr. Lu is really something. What kind of father does that? I didn't respond, just tucked Xingyu in. Then Lu Junxiao called. I picked up. His voice had a relieved, almost condescending tone. Lin Wanyue. Qingqing is fine now. Have you calmed down? There's half the box left. I'll have my assistant send it to the hospital later. Tell Xingyu I won't be home tonight. I'm staying with Qingqing for observation. No need to send it, I said. What's wrong with you now? His voice immediately turned cold. Lin Wanyue. Don't be ungrateful. Qingqing had acute throat edema. Without that medicine, she would have died. Xingyu is still fine, so it wasn't that urgent. I said no need. I replied, my voice eerily calm. Keep the leftover half. Let Bai Qin eat it like candy. And Lu Junxiao. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Bring your ID and household registration. There was dead silence on the line. Then he let out a cold laugh. Lin Wanyue, are you threatening me? Over something so trivial. You know that without the Lu family, you can't even afford Xingyu's medical bills. That's my problem, not yours. Mr. Lu. I hung up and blocked his number. Xingyu started vomiting from the side effects of the backup medication. I busied myself cleaning up and comforting him. The exhaustion numbed my heart. Late that night, the hospital door burst open. Lu Junxiao stormed in, his tie slightly askew, his breath ragged. He looked at me with offended anger. Lin Wanyue, what does blocking me mean? Divorce isn't something you can just throw around. I put a finger to my lips, pointed to the sleeping Xingyu, and led him outside, under the harsh fluorescent lights of the hallway. He frowned at me, searching for the old submissive Lin Wanyue. Enough is enough. Go home. Don't make a fool of yourself here. He reached for my wrist. I stepped back. Lu Junxiao, I'm not making a scene. You took Xingyu's medicine, you didn't care if he lived or died. Since you're so devoted to Bai Qin, I'll make it easy for you. His face darkened. Lin Wanyue, it's just a box of medicine. Qingqing's life was at stake. To me, one strand of Xingyu's hair is worth more than Bai Qin's entire life. I pulled a divorce agreement out of my bag and handed it to him. I've already signed it. I only want what's rightfully mine. Xingyu stays with me. If you disagree, we'll see each other in court. Dr. Chen has a complete record of you taking our son's medicine. I'm sure the judge will find that very interesting. Lu Junxiao stared at the document, his pupils contracting. He looked at me as if seeing me for the first time. Lin Wanyue, are you serious? Mr. Lu, don't be late tomorrow. I turned and walked back into the room, closing the door on his stunned, furious face. This time, I turned away first, and I would never look back. The next morning, I returned to the Lu residence. The cold air still carried the sour smell of last night's spoiled soup. Lu Junxiao was sitting at the dining table, frowning at the empty surface. Normally, I would have served warm congee or a perfectly fried egg by now. He looked up, his tone softening slightly, expecting obedience. Now that you're back, make something to eat. My stomach hurts. I'll forget about last night. Tear up that agreement. I walked past him to the entryway, picked up my spare keys and ID, and said calmly, Lu Junxiao, the Civil Affairs Bureau. I'm not joking. His face twisted. He stood up too quickly, his stomach cramping, and snarled, haven't you caused enough trouble? It's because Xingyu is in the hospital that I realized a father like you is completely unnecessary. I turned and walked out, ignoring his enraged shouts behind me. I drove to my studio. For 7 years of marriage, Everyone thought I was just a pampered housewife who stayed by the stove. They forgot that I graduated top of my class in architectural design. All these years, I had been taking commissions under the pseudonym Moni, behind Lu Juanxiao's back. The money in my account was more than enough to support Xingyu and me for a long time. Sister Lin, you finally showed up. My assistant, Xiao Zhao, ran up excitedly. For the Cloud Pillar project, the client insists on you handling the final revisions. Once that's done, the final payment of 10 million will come through. Let's start. We'll finalize the drawings today. I took off my coat and dove into work. At 3 p.m., my phone lit up with a text from Lu Junxiao. Qingqing feels guilty. She wants to visit Xingyu at the hospital and bring the leftover medicine. Don't be cold and hostile. Be magnanimous. I read the message and felt nothing but absurd contempt. In my past life, Bai Qin had come too, with expensive gifts, crying prettily about how she didn't know the medicine was so important. Lu Junxiao had comforted her and blamed me for not explaining things clearly. This time, I forwarded the text to the bodyguards I had hired that morning. At 5 p.m., when I returned to the hospital, Bai Qin was standing at the door in a white dress, her eyes red. 2 bodyguards blocked her like iron towers. Lu Junxiao was yelling at them. Who gave you the right to stop me? I'm Lin Xingyu's father. I did, I said, walking over in high heels. Lin Wanyue, have you lost your mind? Hiring outsiders to keep me out. Qingqing came all this way to bring medicine, and you made her stand here for an hour. I ignored Bai Qin's pitiful face and looked directly at Lu Junxiao. Yesterday, that medicine was life-saving. Today, it's charity. Mr. Lu, Xingyu no longer needs it. Sister Yu, please don't blame Junxiao. Bai Qin sobbed, looking like she might faint. I really didn't know it was for Xingyu. If I had, I would rather have died. Then why didn't you? I interrupted, my tone flat. Bai Qin's face froze. Tears hung on her lashes, unable to fall or retreat. Lu Junxiao roared, Lin Wanyue, watch your mouth. Watch my mouth. I laughed coldly and pulled out copies of Bai Qin's emergency room records from last night. The diagnosis was mild allergies, nowhere near needing a strong drug like Ruebo Ding. Lu Junxiao, you took your son's only hope over a mild allergy. His hands trembled as he looked at the report. He glanced at Bai Qin with suspicion. She panicked, clutching his sleeve. Junxiao, I really couldn't breathe. I didn't mean to lie. Whether you lied is for you to know. But from the moment you took that medicine, you became nothing more than garbage in my eyes. He opened his mouth but couldn't speak. Take your Miss Bai and get out. Don't dirty the air outside Xingyu's room. I slammed the door in their faces. Inside, Xingyu was quietly looking at a picture book. Mom, he whispered, did Dad leave with that auntie? I stroked his head. It doesn't matter if he left. From now on, it's just you and me. Okay. He thought for a moment and nodded seriously. Okay. As long as you don't cry, I'll do anything. At 10 p.m., Lu Junxiao called again. His voice was hoarse, his arrogance gone. Wanyue, I took Qingqing home. The doctor said Xingyu's follow-up treatment will cost a lot. You can use the Lu family account freely. Just drop the divorce. It's bad for the child. I stared into the dark night outside the window. Lu Junxiao, you probably don't know that the piece of land my father left me in the east of the city broke ground last week. The development funds alone will support Xingyu for many lifetimes. His breath caught. He had always thought that land was just a barren hill. He didn't know it was the core of the city's next 5-year plan. And don't use our son as a shield. You don't owe him, he owes me. I hung up and looked at my reflection. The broken woman of the past life was dead. This time, I would watch him sink, piece by piece. On the 7th day of Xingyu's hospitalization, Lu Junxiao finally couldn't take it anymore. I hadn't returned to the Lu residence once. I hadn't called. All his attempts at reconciliation, his excuses, even his angry texts, went unanswered. When the hospital door opened, I was peeling an apple for Xingyu. Lu Junxiao stood in the doorway, holding an expensive Lego set, stubble on his chin, looking haggard. Yeah, he said, trying a softer tone. I brought Xingyu his favorite Legos. Dr. Chin says he can be discharged the day after tomorrow. I'm here to take you both home. I didn't even look up. Mr. Liu, you don't have a home here. After discharge, Xingyu will go back to the old Lin residence. His face stiffened. He set the toy down and tried to come closer. Don't be like this. The old Lin house hasn't been lived in for years. I've had the maid clean everything. I even had a swing installed on your favorite balcony. Lu Junxiao, I said, putting down the knife and looking at him coldly. Do you really think that if you just lower your head a little and give me some crumbs, I'll come running back like a grateful dog? That's not what I meant. He grew agitated. I mishandled the Bai Qin situation. I've already sent her abroad for further studies. She won't be around you for a long time. Isn't that enough? I felt nothing but coldness in my heart. Abroad for studies. In his eyes, that was already a severe punishment. He had forgotten that his own son almost died on the operating table. Enough. I stood up and pulled out a stack of hospital bills, slapping them in front of him. Xingyu's total hospital stay, 238,000 yuan. I've already paid it. Here are the receipts. Mr. Liu, please leave. He glanced at the papers, his pride wounded. His voice rose. You're counting pennies with me. I'm his father. Paying with your little writing fees. Are you trying to humiliate me? So you remember you're his father. I looked at him without hatred, only endless disappointment. Where was your pride when you took his medicine? Where was your pride when you stayed by Bai Qin's bedside? Just then, my lawyer, Zhou Cheng, walked in. He nodded professionally at Lu Junxiao. Mr. Liu, perfect timing. Regarding the divorce suit filed by Ms. Lin, the paperwork has been submitted to the court. This is the supplemental agreement. Ms. Lin is very clear that you must give up custody of Xingyu. Lu Junxiao laughed bitterly. Lin Wanyue, you really want to see me in court? Do you know what kind of legal team the Lu Group has? On what grounds do you think you can win custody? On the grounds of the emergency care waiver you signed with your own hand. I spoke calmly. He froze. What waiver? I never signed anything like that. That day at Bai Qin's place. You were in such a hurry to leave with the medicine. I asked you to sign a form acknowledging that you were taking it. You didn't even read it. Under that paper was a medical risk acknowledgement for Xingyu, clearly stating that if anything happened due to the lack of medication, the signer bore full responsibility. Legally, you've already committed custodial neglect. Lu Junxiao's face turned deathly pale. He stared at me with something like fear. He finally realized that the woman who once loved him had not only taken the medicine that night, she had also taken all her remaining warmth and laid a precise trap. You schemed against me. His voice trembled. This isn't scheming. It's self-preservation. I stepped closer and straightened his crooked tie, just like I used to do every morning. But my words were knives. Lu Junxiao, you're used to controlling everything. You're used to thinking I can't live without you. But you forgot that the woman who won awards in architectural design never just memorized recipes. From today on, I don't want the title of Mrs. Liu, it disgusts me. I pointed to the door. He left like a defeated soldier, watched by nurses and patients. After he was gone, Zhou Cheng said quietly, Ms. Lin, the Liu family has a lot of business connections. If he fights hard, this could drag on for a long time. He doesn't have time to fight, I said. I sat down and dialed a number. Hello, Mr. Su. This is Lin Wanyue. Regarding the Lin Gang development project we discussed, I have evidence of fatal flaws in the Lu Group's core design drafts. Yes, in their geological survey data. I think we can talk about a partnership now. I hung up and looked at the sleeping Xingyu. Asterisk Lu Junxiao. You think Bai Qin is the pearl in your heart, but she's just the first domino in the collapse of your empire, and I will push it myself. Asterisk, in just half a month. The Lu Group, the company Lu Junxiao had been so proud of, was mired in crisis. When he was publicly snubbed at a business reception and learned that I had become the chief architect of the Su Group under my pseudonym Moni, he went mad. He showed up at my studio, disheveled, his shirt wrinkled, his eyes blazing with betrayal. Lin Wanyue, what are you trying to do? The geological data you leaked to the Su Group, that's corporate espionage. I can sue you. I stopped. My bodyguard stepped forward to separate us. Mr. Liu, your engineering department faked the data. I simply reported it to the regulators as a conscientious professional. As for the Sioux group, they just happened to need someone who could fix their problems. And I happen to have that ability. How long have you had this evidence? He ground out, baffled. You were home every day. How could you get access to the Liu group's core files? Lu Junxiao, you're too arrogant. You worked late in your study every night, throwing draft papers and backup USB drives into the shredder without a second thought. You thought I was just bringing you coffee. I was watching how you were destroying your own company. He stared at me, shaking. The realization that the woman beside him had been watching and waiting, quietly preparing to strike, was more terrifying than any rival company. Then Bai Qin appeared. She hadn't gone abroad. Hearing that the Liu group was in trouble, she had rushed back to secure her position. She ran to Lu Junxiao, grabbing his arm, crying, "Sister Yu, please let Junxiao go. If you hate me, take it out on me. The Liu group is his life's work, you can't destroy it." I looked at her tiredly. "Miss Bai, since you love him so much, now's your chance to repay him." I pulled out a document. "This is the total fines and penalties the Liu group is facing. I heard you own 2 villas he gave you, plus some jewelry. Sell them, they might help him survive the week." Bai Qin's sobs stopped abruptly. She let go of his arm. Her eyes darted away. Lu Junxiao noticed. His voice was low. "Qing Qing, will you help me?" "Junxiao, you know those properties are my security, and my father is sick in the hospital. I need the money," she stammered, not daring to look at him. The irony was brutal. He had nearly sacrificed his son for this woman's mild allergy. Yet now, she wouldn't even sell 1 villa for him. "It seems your life-saving grace wasn't worth much after all." I put the document away. "Lu Junxiao, don't come to me again. Spend your time figuring out how to deal with the regulators tomorrow morning." "Lin Wanyue," he roared after me. "Do you have to be so ruthless? Xingyu is a Liu too. What good does it do him if the Liu group collapses?" I didn't look back. "Xingyu is no longer a Liu. He has taken my surname. And from the moment you gave away his medicine, the Liu family had nothing to do with him anymore." Back at the office, I finished the last structural drawing. An email came in from Zhou Cheng. Miss Lin. The court has accepted the case. Due to his debts and the regulatory investigation, Lu Junxiao no longer has the financial means to fight for custody. Additionally, we found evidence that Bai Qin accepted kickbacks from the Liu group's engineering department. This has been submitted to the police. I shut down my computer and looked at the neon lights of the city. This is only the beginning. Lu Junxiao, you thought I was a parasitic vine clinging to you for survival. But when I decided to stand alone in the storm, the first thing to be strangled was your arrogant, rotting tree trunk. The collapse of the Liu group happened faster than anyone expected. When Bai Qin was taken away by the police for accepting massive kickbacks from a building materials supplier, Lu Junxiao was sitting in his trashed office. The once confident man had an open collar and bloodshot eyes. I walked in. He was staring at a family photo on his desk, taken on Xingyu's 5th birthday. After I had begged him for 10 minutes to spare for the picture. "What are you here for?" "To laugh at me," he rasped, not even looking up. "No, I'm here to take possession of the property." I placed an asset transfer agreement on the desk. "This building has been acquired by the Sioux group. I'm the project manager. Mr. Liu, you have 1 hour to clear out your personal belongings." He looked up, his eyes filled with a bitter, absurd anger. "Lin Wanyue, how much do you hate me? To destroy the Liu group, you'd burn yourself too. Don't forget, you're also a shareholder." That was in the past. I sat across from him, elegant and composed. The day before the stock price crashed, I sold all my shares and shorted the market. Not only did I not lose money, I made a fortune, enough to hire the world's best rehabilitation team for Xingyu. His pupils contracted. His pen clattered to the floor. You were waiting for this all along." He shook his head in disbelief. "That medical waiver I signed, it was just a test, wasn't it? To see if I would even read it. You already knew I would choose Bai Qin over Xingyu." So you set the trap in advance. I didn't set the trap. You chose the path. My voice was calm, like discussing the weather. Lu Junxiao, you always thought Bai Qin was your savior, pure and innocent. But you didn't know that the reason the Lu Group's engineering department dared to use inferior materials was because Bai Qin took a 30% cut from the supplier and blackmailed the department manager into silence. Every piece of jewelry she showed off on social media was stained with the dust of your foundation sand. No, she wouldn't, he whispered, dazed. She's more realistic than you think, and she loves you far less than you believe. Just now, in the interrogation room, she blamed everything on you. She said the kickbacks were your idea to free up cash flow. Your pure first love is trying to send you to prison to save herself. Lu Junxiao slumped in his chair, face ashen. Just then, his phone rang. The hospital. He answered on speaker, trembling. A panicked voice said, Mr. Lu, Miss Bai had an acute asthma attack during detention. We need Rue Ding immediately, but it's out of stock everywhere. We saw that you. He looked at me like a drowning man. Wan Yue, you must have some left. You kept a supply for Xingyu. Please, save her. For the sake of. He couldn't finish. Lu Junxiao, have you forgotten? I stood up, looking down at him. On the day Xingyu was discharged, I donated all of that medicine to a children's medical foundation. As for Bai Qin, she loves pretending she can't breathe. Now let her truly feel what it's like to suffocate. I turned and walked toward the door. Lin Wanyue, he screamed, his voice cracking with tears and regret. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Please, take me to see Xingyu. I'm his father. I'll make it up to him. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to both of you. I stopped and looked back. Half of my face was in shadow. Lu Junxiao, making it up is a cheap word. The damage you did to Xingyu can never be repaid. From the moment you took that medicine, you were already dead to him. I opened the door. Outside stood court bailiffs and asset liquidation staff. Mr. Lu, time's up. Please cooperate. I walked away without looking back. Behind me, I heard his desperate roar and the crash of falling furniture. In that moment, I felt an unprecedented lightness. The chains that had bound me for 2 lifetimes finally turned to ash in the ruins. 3 months later, the Lu Group was ancient history. In the courtyard of the old Lin family home, the ginkgo leaves had turned a brilliant gold. Xingyu, dressed in a little suit, was playing with a Rubik's Cube with his new tutor. His breathing was still slightly more rapid than other children's, but his cheeks were rosy, and his eyes no longer held the fear and timidity from his days in the Lu household. My assistant Xiao Zhao came over. Sister Lin, Lu Junxiao's verdict is in. Bai Qin tried to flip at the last minute, but as legal representative, he's still the main responsible party for the foundation fraud, plus embezzlement. Several charges combined, he's going in. Bai Qin escaped prison but was blacklisted from the industry. Creditors are camped outside her parents' house. She's not doing well. I took a sip of warm black tea, my eyes never leaving Xingyu. Expected. Just then, a shabby figure appeared outside the iron gate. It was Lu Junxiao's mother, my former mother-in-law, once dripping with jewels, now carrying a cheap cloth bag. Wanyue, please let Junxiao go. She wailed through the gate. He's never suffered. How can he survive in a place like that? Just withdraw the civil compensation claim, and he'll get a shorter sentence. For Xingyu's sake, he's his father. I walked slowly down the steps and looked at her through the cold gate. Madam Lu, I said flatly, when your son took Xingyu's medicine, you stood by and watched. You said an adult needed it more than a child. And now you want to talk about family. Her face reddened. She stammered, then forced out, that was his mistake. But he's still Xingyu's biological father. Do you really want Xingyu to grow up knowing his own mother put his father in prison? No. I will tell Xingyu that his father died of an incurable disease when he was 6 years old. A disease called arrogance and selfishness. I waved to the bodyguards. She collapsed by the gate, her cries fading. I turned away from that decaying corner of the past. Just then, Xingyu ran over with the solved Rubik's Cube and hugged my waist. Mom, look, I solved it. Teacher Chen says I'm improving fast. I knelt down, gently wiped the sweat from his forehead. and kissed it. Xingyu is amazing. Want to see the northern lights in Sweden? I'll take you next week. We'll also visit that professor who's helping with your recovery plan. Yes. He jumped up with joy. That evening, I got a call from Mr. Su. Ms. Lin. The first phase of the Lin Gang project finished early, and the feedback is excellent. The industry is saying that MONI is not just a design genius but also a capital markets master. When can we sign the contract for phase 2? Tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'll be there. I hung up and looked at the skyline. The setting sun had dyed the clouds a magnificent purple red, just like my heart at that moment. Warm and free. Lu Junxiao once said that without the Lu family, I couldn't even afford medicine. He didn't know that the 7 years of patience and professional advice I had given him had been the very foundation of the Lu family's stability. When that foundation was removed, his collapse was inevitable. As for Bai Qin, I never saw her again. I heard she found a job in a nightclub, but due to the psychological trauma of her allergy, she would tremble like a dying fish whenever she smelled strong perfume. Cause and effect never needed me to manufacture some cheap revenge. It was enough to let them slowly rot in the bitter seeds they had sown themselves. I took Xinyu's hand and walked into the house. Warm orange light glowed from within. That was our real home. The coldness and grievance of the past life had finally blown away in the wind. In this life, I, Lin Wanyue, would live only for myself and for those I love. What do you think of this story? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your voice.